A very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to the channel. So here we are starting with the analysis video for 17th of November. So we've been seeing about the instability and the war which is going on in Gaza and Israel. So UNSC seeks humanitarian pauses and corridors to be created in Gaza. So let's see अब इस चीज को मतलब actually ground level पे कब तक implement किया जाएगा. So because so far we've been seeing कि talks are going on या UNSC में जो resolution था even that was passed, but just merely passing the resolution has not brought changes on the ground because things have further escalated. We have seen कि even Israel has entered into the Gaza, land attacks भी हो रहे हैं. So things are escalating further. So humanitarian pauses and humanitarian truce, all of that have been debated. So resolution calls for the protection of the civilians. We have seen that the war has led to violation of human rights, which is when we talk about the Geneva Convention, it talks about the protection of human rights. And geographically, we have discussed important locations, exact location of Israel, West Bank, then the capital of Israel, that is Jerusalem. It is located in the West Bank. So that their location is exact southwest bank of the West Bank. It is located. Then Sea of Galilee is there, Dead Sea is there, and Jordan borders. Jordan is the only landlocked country in that region. Then also Israel shares border with Egypt also. So there is one, the exact name of the crossing मैं recall नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, but that has also been opened up by Egypt for the relief measures. So here resolution calls for the protection of civilians, but stopped the short of condemning Hamas attack. And okay, मतलब इसको इतना discreetly and clearly Hamas को condemn नहीं किया जा रहा है. So this was the reason why India also did not vote on the UN resolution. So US, UK, Russia, they also abstained from the vote. So you can see US, UK, Russia. So these are the permanent members also of the UNSC. So they also didn't vote. So Israel says any pause, it hinges on the release of the hostages. So this is the update. ओके करुणा इज शेइंग नहीं एक और क्रॉसिंग है इजिप्ट के पास में. दिस इज वन केरम शालोम क्रॉसिंग इज द नेम. वन मोर इज देयर जो वी हैव आल्सो टॉक्ड अबाउट इट बिफोर. स्पेसिफिकली इजिप्ट के पास है वो. एंड सो इस टॉपिक पे यू हैव एनी डाउट और कोई क्वेश्चन रेज करना हो? सो यू कैन टेल फर्स्टली हमस है क्या, मतलब एनी वन ऑफ यू कैन आंसर व्हाट इज हमस. दिया, दिव्या, आंचल, व्हाट इज हमस?
इट इज रिलेटेड टू द सुन्नी इस्लामिक एरिया और वहाँ पे मतलब ये रिलीजन के बेस पे फोकस है और इसमें पॉलिटिकल और मिलिट्री मतलब ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी रिलेटेड है
ठीक, ओके.
और अभी इजराइल.
Hmm. So Biden and Xi, they restore the military ties but remain apart on the wider flashpoint of Taiwan. We've been talking about कि Taiwan region में tensions have been increasing. So recently during their meet, military ties को restore करने की बात की गई है, but still they are not on the same page as far as tensions over Taiwan is concerned. So Taiwan Strait कहाँ है exact, मतलब geography के perspective से भी this region becomes important. So we've talked about Indo-Pacific region में how the entire geopolitics have been changing, how we have seen that China's assertiveness have been increasing and China sees Taiwan to be part of China, whereas Taiwan, it sees itself to be a sovereign country. So US is in support of Taiwan, so that is what is causing tensions between China and USA. So regarding the agreement, so basically we are seeing that Leaders, they shook hands and strolled around a garden at a historic California estate during the 4 hour talks aimed at preventing the growing tensions between the world's largest economies from spiraling into conflict. So this is basically going to, अगर कोई instability होती है तो definitely सबसे बड़ा impact हमें global maritime trade के ऊपर देखने को मिलेगा, because Indo-Pacific region and Indian Ocean region जो है वहाँ से like we can say 90% of जो global trade है it passes through that region. Then they also agreed that China would crack down on the production of ingredients for the fentanyl and responsible for a deadly epidemic of opioid abuse in the US. So this is basically, it is a deadly drug. So basically USA में this is being, we can say, illegally smuggled from China to US. So this was recognized and acknowledged. सो न्यूज क्लिक केस क्या है यहाँ पे? वी सी ईडी हैज समन्ड सिंघम। बेसिकली यहाँ जब हम एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट की बात करते हैं, सो दे आर मोर इन्वॉल्व इन केसेस विच आर रिलेटेड टू मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग। सो न्यूज क्लिक, इट इज अ शंघाई बेस्ड, बेसिकली बीइंग रन बाय एन अमेरिकन मिलियनर हु इज अक्यूज्ड ऑफ वायलेटिंग दिस foreign contribution regulation act. So basically here action has been taken under the unlawful prevention of unlawful activities act, UAPA act, and FCRA act is another act. Apart from this FCRA act, more often we talk in the context of जो funding, foreign funding आती है to the NGOs, to the civil society organizations. So we are trying कि जो funding, foreign funding उनको मिल रही है, they are using it wisely. वहाँ पे transparency होना चाहिए in terms of sharing the information, how that fund, how the money is being actually spent, for what purposes it is actually spent. क्योंकि ऐसे cases देखे गए हैं कि it is the funds are basically being used to create law and order, like disturbance in different regions. So this is again
बेसिकली वंस ही
यहाँ पे आई है। Yes, Ashik.
हाँ, न्यूज़ क्लिक जो केस है, इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू द फंडिंग ऑफ द न्यूज़ क्लिक बाय द संघाई बेस्ड अमेरिकन मिलिट्री। बेसिकली न्यूज़ क्लिक एक साइट है जो न्यूज़ देता है और न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स ने रिपोर्ट निकाला था आज से 2 महीना पहले कि देयर आर सेवरल सीसीपी रिलेटेड चाइनीज कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी रिलेटेड मिनरल्स, या फिर दे आर फंडिंग द वेरियस प्रोपेगेंडा साइट्स। तो
हम्म।
उसके हिसाब से ईडी ने इस पर काम किया, एफसीआरए का। तो
हाँ,
ये उससे
क्या
रिलेटेड है बेसिकली,
हम्म।
प्रोपेगेंडा और मीडिया बाइस से रिलेटेड। मीडिया एथिक्स भी आ जाएगा इसमें।
हम्म।
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है उसी कि जो ये प्रोपोगेंडा साइट्स रहती हैं, फिर जो मीडिया है, इसको लेके कोई रेगुलेशन एक्ट है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में जिससे इन्हें रेगुलेट किया जाता हो? या
बेसिकली दे आर सेल्फ रेगुलेटेड राइट नाउ।
नहीं, सोशल मीडिया रेगुलेशन के अराउंड सचिन ने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा, तो एक्ट है, आईटी एक्ट 2000 इज देयर। बट वैसे अगर सोशल मीडिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की बात करो तो दे आर सेल्फ रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज। ये हम बहुत बार डिस्कस कर चुके अबाउट एयर क्वालिटी, रीजंस क्या है, लॉन्ग टर्म हमें क्या एक्शन लेना इंपॉर्टेंट है। So gas chamber, basically Delhi NCR region is turned into a gas chamber. So what gases are there? Like you can answer, any one of you can answer. कौन सी harmful gases हैं which is cause this kind of cloudy situation in the atmosphere?
दिया दिव्या यू कैन आंसर।
कार्बन मोनोडाइऑक्साइड और नाइट्रोजन ऑक्साइड, PM2.5, PM10 पार्टिकल्स थे।
Okay, और secondary pollutants क्या होते हैं?
आंचल।
Okay, secondary pollutants, they are aerosols, particles which are formed due to the interaction of gases and pollutants. मतलब जो atmosphere में gases as a pollutant present है, उनके बीच में भी chemical reaction होने की वजह से certain secondary pollutants emerge in the atmosphere. Like and the sources are like power plants से जो emissions हो रहे हैं refinery से या vehicular. Like example की अगर हम बात करें तो ground level ozone is one example, benzene is another secondary pollutant. So they also contribute to air pollution. 30% is their contribution. So we see here as a case study, cyber fraud की अगर हम बात करें तो IPS officer's wife and cook they lose rupees 1.8 lakh crore. So as a solution measure, Ashik, what would you like suggest as a solution to deal with?
1.8 lakh crore.
Sorry, sir, rupees 1.8 lakh.
First of all, there is a issue of digital divide, even among the rich people, because regarding the apps, various types of apps and email phishing, uh, many of the cases have been seen in the affluent society also. So, newspaper ad or social media ad can be used for the awareness.
And so
And
basically,
side by side,
हाँ.
online, there is a online grievance mechanism, like for example, Twitter हो गया, या EFIR, which can be used for the cybercrime.
हाँ, वो सब मतलब वी कैन से कि कन्वेंशनल तरीके से दे पोज अ रिस्क, बट यहाँ पे जो केस था इट वाज द वुमन हैड अपलोडेड एन एडवर्टाइजमेंट फॉर सेलिंग द फर्नीचर, सो जो बायर था he basically defrauded them. So basically it is important for you to know कि you it is important to verify the identity of the person. So you can't blindly trust. So this is one of the negatives of online platforms या जो furniture selling है like OLX या ये सब websites जो हैं.
This is like mind gaming, like that is showcase कि वो emotionally attack करते हैं fraudster भी.
हाँ, वो भी एक एस्पेक्ट हो सकता है. So centers want to improving the efficiency in the tax administration. So Oshik, what would you say? What steps have we taken to increase the efficiency in the tax administration, and what more needs to be done?
For efficiency in the tax administration, first, a tax authority uses add-ons on the newspaper to make people aware about the taxation, and they can file tax at a very earlier rate. Then second would be the portal, because there is a certain technical issue with the portal all the time. Then ITs can be used and improving efficiency. You can add answer.
कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी भी होनी चाहिए, एक इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट ये भी है, इम्प्रूविंग द एफिशिएंसी इन द टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन.
हाँ, so what measures have been taken ट्रांसपेरेंसी को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए? क्या हमने कोई मेजर्स लिए हैं या अभी तक कुछ भी नहीं किया है? नहीं किया है तो और क्या किया जाना चाहिए अकॉर्डिंग टू यू?
नहीं, इम्प्रूवमेंट तो हो रहा है, बट उतनी एफिशिएंट वे में नहीं हो रही, जैसे कि पोर्टल लाए जा रहे हैं, मतलब डिजिटल
ओके, एनीवन
एस्पेक्ट्स यूज करे जा रहे हैं उसको.
ठीक है, ठीक है, थैंक यू आंचल. ट्रांसपेरेंसी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट हो गया. एनीवन एल्स अगर आपको कोई और एडिशनल पॉइंट ऐड करना हो?
आप बता दो आंसर.
ठीक है. इम्प्रूविंग द एफिशिएंसी इन द टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, वी ऑलवेज से कि हमें टैक्स बेस को इंक्रीज करने की जरूरत है, बट वो एक स्मॉल एस्पेक्ट हो गया. मेजरली वी आर फोकसिंग अपॉन जो एग्जिस्टिंग टैक्स बेस है, उसमें हम कैसे एफिशिएंसी इन टर्म्स ऑफ कलेक्शन ऑफ टैक्सेस कैसे इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं. सो फॉर दैट फर्स्टली वी केम अप विद जीएसटी, दैट basically that also made efficient system, क्योंकि this is a form of indirect taxation. So उसमें जो number of taxes थे, cluttered taxes थे, that became a uniform system. So with that we have seen that even in terms of monthly GST revenues that are being collected by the center, we are seeing the average is somewhere around coming to be 1 lakh rupees monthly, 1 lakh crore rupees monthly. So this is one aspect, and we have also introduced the faceless taxation system where you can online file your the IT returns. And thirdly, we have also introduced the amnesty schemes, the tax amnesty schemes, where you, if you have not paid or if you have avoided the taxation, government is providing you certain incentives and leverages. You can still report how much unaccounted income you have, and then accordingly that scheme would be functioning. So these are certain measures how we are improving upon the efficiency in the tax administration given the existing tax base that we have. And even GST ke sath we also saw more formalization of the economy. Even after demonetization we saw more formalization of the economy, so that also helped us in expanding the tax base. So that's how it has been done. And we have also introduced the biometric Aadhaar based authentication through GST Seva Kendra. Specifically, this is there in Andhra Pradesh. So this is what we have, the improvements that we have seen so far. Okay, so as a case study, this is a case study from Odisha. So we see that Nabarangpur, it is one of the regions there. It is one of the most poverty-stricken districts in Odisha. So agricultural entrepreneurship, so coordination and synergy between these two sectors, it is emerging as a way of tackling poverty and a land hard to cultivate. So where cultivation is difficult, carrying out, efficient and more productive agriculture is difficult, how agricultural entrepreneurship, or we can say even food processing, it is helping the people to come out of poverty. So here we have this case study where we see the stock of positive changes that have been witnessed, recorded in this region. So despite a divide between the Bengali immigrants from the present day Bangladesh and the local tribal population, which feels discriminated against. So these basically differences and challenges do exist. So here we see that according to the NFHS score of 2015-16, district was the poorest in Odisha, where 59% of the population was identified as multi-dimensionally poor. So Achal, can you explain what is multi-dimensional poverty?
It includes basic necessities of life with accurate income level, and like stunting, wasting also counted in as the indicator of this key, that as we are know that multidimensional index is also there. So that's I want to share.
Okay. Okay, so इसमें हम ऐड कर सकते हैं जो पॉइंट्स आपने बोले, these are good and relevant points. Like you can divide कि जो हमारा कन्वेंशनल आइडिया ऑफ पॉवर्टी, दैट इज वी कंपेयर इट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ इनकम. और इंडिया में अगर हम पॉवर्टी लेवल कैलकुलेशन की बात करते हैं तो दैट इज डन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द कंजम्पशन लेवल्स. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, apart from the basic necessities that you pointed out, we also talk about agar you don't have access to affordable education, to healthcare primary level pe bhi, then also basically multidimensional poverty mein health, education, your standard of living and affordability of the healthcare, that also plays an important role. So even if you are not skilled enough, so even that becomes an aspect of multidimensional poverty. तो कितना आप diversely इसमें elements सोच सकते हो, that constitutes this. So you're talking about the Nabarangpur, it had reduced the poverty levels by 25%. So it is through basically the yellow gold we have seen through the maize cultivation, the landscape painted yellow as maize grains they are harvested and laid out in the dry, drenched courtyards. So basically, agar different parts of India maybe which are drought stricken, so wahan pe bhi can we really make this out to be a productive income source for the people also. So this can be expanded at pan India level, and so that's how it basically helped the people. So it is basically, this region is located in southwest of Odisha, bordered by the Kolpur district, Chhattisgarh, Raipur, and Bastar districts. So it has become Odisha's maize production hub.
Mansi, basically, this article is saying that use of agriculture entrepreneurship can be beneficial for the local population, such that yellow gold, that is maize, can be grown around, and addition to it, growing a vegetable at a larger scale under boundaries areas, and then spicy culture can be implemented. तो ये तो हो गई फिर बाकी सब क्या ऐड कर सकते हैं वो सोचना चाहिए हमें एग्रीकल्चर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप। जैसे आंचल ने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि व्हाट मोर कैन बी डन टू प्रमोट द एग्रीकल्चर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, तो बेसिकली आंचल वी कैन प्रमोट। हाँ बोलो।
Administrative support is also important. Government support financially, making the farmers aware कि actually वो कैसे कर सकते हैं these types of techniques. So even यहाँ पे भी this region is suffering from drought, तो वहाँ पे भी drip irrigation is being used basically. So per drop more crop, how these advanced technologies and methodologies can be actually implemented, so their administration can play an important and synergetic role in awareing the farmers and helping them financially also.
ओके, आई एम एडिंग न्यू पॉइंट्स कि एग्रीकल्चर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप तो हर जगह हो सकता है, वो लॉजिस्टिक में हो सकता है, तो आप ई नैम का यूज़ कर सकते हो, और साथ ही साथ फिर आप इसमें टेक्नोलॉजी इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हो, जैसे पॉली हाउसेस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द हॉर्टिकल्चर, या फिर ड्रिप इरिगेशन आपने मानसी बताया। तो हर एक एरियाज में इरिगेशन फ्रॉम फ्रॉम फार्म लाइन, फ्रॉम कोल्ड चेन फैसिलिटीज टूवर्ड्स द लॉजिस्टिक सप्लाई, फॉर एग्जांपल सप्लाई चेन मैनेजमेंट, फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री, सब में आप काम कर सकते हो, तो एग्रीकल्चर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप होता है। यहाँ पे जो दिया हुआ है सिर्फ और सिर्फ रिलेटेड टू द फार्मिंग। और सीड्स भी उसके अंदर में आता है कि हाइब्रिड मेड सीड्स हैव बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन अर्ली 1980s एंड इट आल्सो कैन बी यूज्ड। तो सीड भी एक पार्ट है इसका, तो मल्टी डायमेंशनल एरिया है, वहां पर आप सोच सकते हो। वी कैन मूव टू नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल।
Here I can add up that there are initiatives like मैं भी किसान इनिशिएटिव इन JNK, वो भी हम उसको भी मतलब और बढ़ा सकते हैं for further improvement. And also there are bachelor programs also कि जो अवेयरनेस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स के अंदर। इस टाइप का प्रोग्राम भी हो जो इंटीग्रेट करे फार्मिंग और मतलब फार्मिंग और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप।
यस आंचल।
So nice points added by Achal. So moving to the next topic, electoral bond scheme. So we've been seeing the cases subjudized about the relevance and effectiveness of electoral bond scheme. We've seen electoral bond schemes were introduced for increasing transparency for electoral funding. But of late, we saw on the part of the center, which it said, basically informed the Supreme Court that providing information to the citizens on the basis of who donated how much money to which political party, that wouldn't be allowed under the RTI Act. So इसको ट्रांसपेरेंसी के लिए हमने इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, बट हेरिन वी आर सीइंग सर्टेन ओपेक way of functioning the electoral bond scheme. So even we see that electoral bond scheme के through जो maximum money जाता है, as per the ADR report also, we are having the data that 90% of the funding goes to the ruling political party. So these are certain, we can say, challenges related to this. And the case is subjudized, so rest will take this up later on. And if you have any other point to add or any other aspect to be discussed around it, so we can discuss that.
Basically, what are the issues regarding the electoral bonds? First of all, the issue is anonymity.
Yes.
The people should know who are the corporates that are donating to the political parties. And the government has said that people have no right to know about this. which I think it is a matter of judgment which can be done by the Supreme Court. But a second point would be the scale of donation. What is the scale of donation in 2000 rupees, 2000 या 20,000 rupees? Scale of donation कितना है? Third is use of electoral bond just before the election. It is तो ये एक issue है. Fourth is that lobbying, just like USA, in lobbying is legal. In India, it is legal, but it is very anonymous, कि छुप के होता है. तो यहाँ पे आप सामने आना चाहिए, ट्रांसपेरेंसी बढ़ाना चाहिए कि आप इसको पार्टी को डोनेट करते हो, कितने पैसा आप डोनेट किए. तो ओवरऑल दिस पॉइंट्स कैन बी देयर.
ठीक है. और सर्टेन
और इसमें FCRA का भी इशू है, जिसमें ले लिया हमने
हम्म
कि फॉरेन
Here I
कंपनी से
want to
कितना.
ask कि इंडिया में फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन ले सकती है पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज या नहीं ले
नहीं, डायरेक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू मी डायरेक्ट फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं ले सकते हैं. मतलब ओनली मैकेनिज्म टू फंड द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इज थ्रू इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स.
हाँ, यहाँ पर है कि मेनी ऑफ द फॉरेन कंपनीज दे
कैन
यूज द
डोनेट.
इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड मैकेनिज्म, या दे डोनेट वाया द सब्सिडी. तो ये एक चैलेंज होता है,
तो यहाँ पे भी एक चैलेंज
इंडियन
है
सब्सिडी.
कि बाद में जो अमेंडमेंट भी की गई थी इन द डोनेशन, जो प्राइवेट कंपनीज है, पहले एक लिमिटेशन एग्जिस्ट करती थी कि अगर आप इतना प्रॉफिट अर्न कर रहे हो देन ओनली यू कैन डू द डोनेशन थ्रू इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स. बट वो जो लिमिटेशन थी या रिस्ट्रिक्शन थी उसको हटा दिया गया. तो उसके बाद शेल कंपनीज कैन ऑल्सो डोनेट टू द पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज. बट अगेन जो अनोनिमिटी वाला एलिमेंट है, तो एक्चुअली वी डोंट नो who is donating and how much is being donated. जो सोर्स हमें नहीं पता है एग्जैक्टली.
ओके, थैंक यू मानसी. मानसी, ऊपर एक पेंटिंग दी है, उस पर हम थोड़ा डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं
ओके.
इस आर्टिकल से पहले.
दिस पेंटिंग राइट.
हाँ जी.
ओके. सो आपको क्या डिस्कस करना है इसके ऊपर, आप रेज कर सकते हो, या आप क्या क्या आइडिया है आपका इसके रिगार्डिंग.
नहीं, मैं इसलिए बोल रही हूँ बिकॉज समटाइम्स इन इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क अबाउट सम आर्टिस्ट. सो यहाँ पे हम आर्टिस्ट ले सकते हैं जिन्होंने मतलब IR के पर्सपेक्टिव से इस इमेज को बनाया है.
So these
तो
paintings,
दैट्स व्हाई आई एम.
so these paintings are
हाँ जी.
providing us a perspective of the current life in Afghanistan at an ongoing exhibition. So they were presented in Delhi. So what do you have to say, Achal, ki what basically message or these are basically paintings are trying to give?
Yes, in last मतलब in ending of this topic here written that explaining the artist style. तो यहाँ पे John says that C Block is not a complete naturalist. तो वो रियलिस्ट आइडियाज बता रहे हैं, तो वो ये रिफ्लेक्ट करना चाहते हैं. तो यहाँ पे हम आंसर्स में इसको कोट कर सकते हैं. तो मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव ये था इसको शेयर करने का.
ठीक है. Artist's name is Sebulug, and then this basically paintings are showing, one is showing this bird market where we can see parrots in Kabul, and the village life it is trying to depict. On the other side, it is showing a scene from the market. So basically these paintings, they hold an element of hope and promise that things would come back to the normal. And contrary to the image of the country being unsafe and intolerant, I got to see a different side of Afghanistan. So basically, मतलब ग्लोबल लेवल पे वी टॉक अबाउट जो पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी है या तालिबान रूल के जो एक्सेसेस है, बट एक्चुअली विलेज लाइफ जो है वी डोंट गेट टू नो कि माइन्यूटली व्हाट इज द लाइफ. सो दैट इज व्हाट दीज पेंटिंग्स आर एक्चुअली शोइंग अस. So even, we can see tourists are also visiting there. There are challenges, but normalcy is also returning in many places. So that is what these paintings are highlighting, the positive aspects.
ओके आंचल, ऊपर में लिखा हुआ है ललित कला एकेडमी. तो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय ललित कला एकेडमी? क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है वो?
Like for promotion of artist activities, they are giving award and it is made integrated for artists mainly.
Okay, it is an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Culture, and you have added that is for the promotion of the Indian artist and the fine arts sector.
So peace in Manipur cannot be restored by half measures. So we have seen the reasons behind the ethnic violence in the state of Manipur. And right now we are like a day before yesterday, we were talking about that the Kuki-Zo community, they have said, they've declared that they will be forming their self-government. And this basically shows the hostility within the tribal community, or we can say the minorities in the Manipur state. So 6 months after the violent conflagration set in motion ethnic conflict in the Manipur, little has changed in bridging, and every few days there is violent occurrences. Still, provocative moves are being visible there, and partisans on either side of the conflict. Tensions are growing, but to bring back normalcy to the areas most prone to the violence, what needs to be done? And then there is another concern around the implementation of AFSPA Act, specifically in the tribal regions, in the hilly regions, and not in the valley. So that is also creating a drift between minorities and majorities. Majorities constitutes the meaty communities in the state of Manipur. So that is another concern. And the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, which represents the Kuki-Zo, so this is what I was talking about, self-rule. They will be declaring a self-rule, self-elected government with separate chief minister in districts dominated by the tribal communities. So, Oshik, what should be the solution to this kind of a situation, the state of Manipur?
We have discussed Mansi yesterday with Pravesh that the solution is only with the carrot and stick approach. A carrot means more engagement with the locals, and government schemes can be given for the employment so that the radicalization of the youth can be minimized. And second is stick policies used by the Assam Rifle and etc. other intelligence agency to contain the extremist element in the society. So that would be the process.
Okay, and we have seen that despite, after the paramilitary forces they have been deployed in the state, with that also we have seen violence increasing, or the discontent among the local communities that is also increased. So what is your take on this? That stationing of the paramilitary forces, is that the solution?
Yes, it is a solution for temporary measures because every other issue, it is a matter of national security, so it must be there. But a long-term solution is not feasible. Um, there should be a normalization of the process, starting by the slight removal of AFSPA and uh, giving more primacy to the local administration. It is long term, but temporary measure we can use.
ठीक है. So main problem जो हमें देखने को मिल रही है, that is growing distrust of the people in the administration, the government, specifically minorities के केस में ऐसा हो रहा है.
सचिन, जो वॉर इन म्यांमार है, मतलब द जनता मस्ट होल्ड टॉक्स विद द रेबल्स एंड रिलिंक्विश पावर, तो जनता है क्या यहाँ पर?
है जो आगे
जनता लिखा हुआ ना, द जनता मस्ट होल्ड टॉक्स विद द रेबल्स एंड रिलिंक्विश पावर, तो जनता सिग्निफाइज हुम, कौन है यहाँ जनता? आम जनता का बात हो रहा है कि कौन है ये जनता बेसिकली?
I think it is
जुंटा
military
है,
coup.
जनता नहीं है, जुंटा मिलिट्री की बात हो रही है, वो जुंटा लिखा हुआ है, जुंटा मस्ट
हाँ
होल्ड टॉक्स। तो
हाँ।
जुंटा मिलिट्री है, जुंटा म्यांमार में
हम्म।
वो रूल करती है, उसके अगेंस्ट जो है छोटे छोटे ग्रुप्स हैं वो खड़े हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट थी उसको डिस्टेब्लिश कर दिया था। आम्बे था उससे पहले जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, तो जुंटा कर रही है टॉक्स विद
Basically, there is a
rebels।
clash between the pro-democracy movement, including the CUT, and also the military junta. Military junta has usurped the power in Myanmar with the help of China. तो
तो
ये
कौशिक,
process।
इसके पीछे आप मेन रीजन बता सकते हो जो 2020 में द मिलिट्री कू दैट वाज विटनेस्ड इन म्यांमार, उसके पीछे रीजन क्या था?
2 to 3 areas था. First is the close proximity of the military junta with the Chinese party. Second is the civilian government has uh, were accusing the military of conducting the genocide against the Rohingya. So they were a very apprehension of the military court and other things. That's why they have done it. Third would be the geopolitics interests of
कौशिक,
several regions.
you can continue, I have a call.
We can take up in the next
Okay,
session.
we can talk.
तो नीचे नहीं आ सकता है ना के पास है।
ओके, मैं यहाँ पे ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि सेल टैक्स और वाट टैक्स में फर्क बता सकते हो आप? वीएटी टैक्स में दोनों में क्या